Getting lean will elevate your attractiveness way more than building muscle alone. Not saying we don't want to build muscle, of course we do. When we're in the gym, we want to be lifting heavy and working hard, but actually getting to a lean body fat is going to really elevate our look. You want to be around 8 to 12% body fat to get that attractive V taper. If you go to the gym and you work hard, but you completely neglect the nutrition side of things, because that is the hardest part of the gym to actually stay consistent with. It's not as fun as training. It's harder to stay consistent with, and most guys completely neglect the nutrition side of things. The same with me. If you do that, you're pretty much wasting your time and you're actually limiting how attractive your physique can be. If you are one of those guys that goes to the gym but they completely neglect their nutrition, you're gonna look like a bodybuilder who just lifts but actually doesn't look attractive. This is exactly what happened to me when I was bulking. I was chasing big numbers. I wanted to be as big as possible. I just looked like someone who was chubby and bulky, who you can tell trains, but they don't actually have that aesthetic physique. They don't really have the V taper. They're not very defined. And my goal of going to the gym was to be more attractive. And me working out and training like this and neglecting my nutrition wasn't helping me get there. You want to have an attractive physique, and it's not actually that hard to do. The process is simple though. You just have to train a specific way, eat the specific food, and do some sort of cardio, keeping a low body fat, and you'll get there. When you have that attractive physique with wide shoulders that are capped, a big back and a slim waist and the V taper, you're actually going to build an attractive physique that women actually like. You're not just gonna get compliments of guys in the gym who are bodybuilders. I see a lot of guys in the gym who actually have a lot of potential. They built the muscle, but it's all hiding under body fat. And they end up just looking big and bloated. They don't actually look attractive and they don't look good. Whereas if they lost the body fat, then they have the potential to have a really attractive physique. And that's not in a sus way, but it's the truth. If they just focused on their training like they do, but then they locked in with their nutrition and got lean, then they would look 10 times better. A lot of guys are scared to get lean, like myself, because they think that they're gonna look skinny. Whereas this isn't really the case at all. You're gonna weigh less, which I think mentally is a hard thing to comprehend. When I was my heaviest, I was 86 kilos. Now I'm even around 80, even a bit under. And obviously if you look at the scale number, I'm gonna feel a lot skinnier. But I have a lot of guys say to me, I look bigger. And overall, I feel better. I don't look skinny, I just don't look fat and bulky. Whereas to have an attractive physique, you don't want to look fat and bulky. You want to look lean, athletic. You want that V taper. You want good muscle definition. You want to show the muscles that you've worked for. Even the way my face looked when I was bulky was unattractive. I had like a moon face. You couldn't really see my jawline. Now I've leaned out, you can see my jawline a lot more. And when you look at people like movie stars, they're never big and bulky. They might be big, but they're going to be lean. Everyone wants to look lean. That is actually what looks good. And it's not just gonna change your body, your face, and everything else is gonna change. As I said, I see a lot of guys with potential, but they're focusing on the wrong things and they're actually ruining their attractiveness. They haven't made getting lean a priority. You can be in the gym for an hour and a half every single day, working hard, lifting weights, but if you're going home and snacking on the wrong foods, you're basically wasting your time. Yes, you're going to look better than the average person because you actually exercise, the average person doesn't, but you're not going to look attractive. You're gonna look like I did, where you can tell you train, you have muscle, you might be strong, but you don't have that attractive physique because you're focused on the wrong things. You're chasing numbers and lifting heavy weights. You need to make getting lean a priority. I actually looked better a year into lifting than I did after I'd done 2 complete bulks, because I was actually lean and you could see the muscle definition. Before, my body proportions were completely off, and I'll show you a picture when I just started lifting. You can see I'm defined, I look good. But after bulking and doing the wrong things, not focusing on my nutrition and just chasing heavy numbers, I look worse. I'm working harder and the results are not paying off. And that's exactly what happened. I wasn't happy with how I looked. I wanted to train and be attractive, but I wasn't. I've always trained some sort of boxing, and this picture here is after I did a complete bulk. I was about 78 kilos here. It's the same I weigh now, but obviously I put on more muscle and I'm leaner now. But after this picture, I decided to do a boxing match. So my goal was to get as lean as possible. Obviously, to box, you want to be light and strong. So I was still lifting weights, I was training, I was doing a lot of cardio, but I did a cut. And this obviously left me skinny because I wasn't focused on looking attractive. I needed functional strength. So I was doing strength and conditioning training and a lot of cardio, a lot of sparring because I had to prepare for a fight. I don't care how I looked, but you can see I got to a really, really low body fat percentage, probably lower than I am now. Well, definitely lower than I am now. And I didn't look good because I wasn't focused on that, but I got really, really lean. After winning my fight, I was 69 kilos and I did my second bulk where I got to 86 kilos in 10 months, which is 1.7 kilos a month for 10 months straight, which is pretty much the most you can gain safely without becoming ill. And after doing this, my body was in bits. I was eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories every day. I was lifting heavy weights. I was making myself feel sick from the amount of food I was eating. And at the end of the process, I still wasn't happy with how I looked because I was just focused on getting as big as possible. Yes, I did gain muscle, I did gain size, and that was my goal. But my goal was to look better. I went from looking skinny and I wasn't happy to then looking chubby. I still wasn't happy. I wanted to look attractive, but I was focused on the wrong things. I was focused with being big. Whereas if you want to be attractive, being big is not the priority. Having muscle definition and being lean should have been my priority. I actually didn't think in my head about being lean when I decided to go on a cut. I was just fed up of being full every day and having brain fog, no energy, and stuff in my face. I was literally sick of it. So my overall thought process wasn't, I'm gonna get lean, I'm gonna look so good. It was actually just to feel better. And that is one of the main benefits with being lean and not carrying too much body fat and not stuffing your face, constantly bulking. You're gonna feel so much better. Your energy is gonna be higher. You're gonna enjoy training more. You're gonna have better sleep. Your skin will look better. Everything is gonna improve. And that is why I actually started to become leaner. I was just sick of eating so many calories. And obviously, as well as making me feel better, in the process, it made me more attractive. I always looked at athletic physiques, for example, Leon Edwards, and I realized they're actually not that big. These guys maybe weigh 80, 85 kilos. Obviously on a fight night, it might be less, but they actually aren't huge. And these are the physiques that people want. They don't want these massive bodybuilder physiques. They want to look athletic. Obviously, yes, you need muscle definition. That's why we go to the gym. But if Leon Edwards bulked up, he's not going to look good like he does now. And that is one of the things that I realized. If I actually get lean from 86 kilos, I can actually look good. You don't need to be stage ready. You don't need to be 5% body fat where your face is all drawn in and you look ill. You just need to be 8 to 12% body fat to actually look and feel attractive. A lot of guys will talk about victim weight, which in my opinion is just bullshit anyway, because we go to the gym to look better. If you wanted to not be a victim, don't go to the gym because you're learning the wrong thing and you're progressing in the wrong thing. But I'm 80 kilos and I spar people who are 110 kilos and I dominate them. So the fact that victim weight is not really a thing, that's just like almost a cope for allowing you to eat whatever you want and not stick to a diet. Someone who is 80 kilos like me, I probably look better than people who are 90 kilos bulked because they just look fat. It doesn't look attractive. Not being disciplined with your nutrition is going to show in your physique. You look like how you do because of the choices you make every day. So if you choose to eat junk food, of course you're gonna look like shit. When I ate like shit, I looked horrible. I looked fat, I looked bloated, but when I actually dialed in my nutrition and thought about the food I was eating, I saw it as fuel, then suddenly my physique started to change for the better. If you're a man like me, you want to be the best at whatever you do, really. If you're gonna do something, you want to be the best at it. So you shouldn't be happy with being mediocre, eating junk food and looking skinny fat. That shouldn't be something you should be satisfied with. You should want to look your best. So if you're carrying extra body fat, if you get lean, you will look 10 times more attractive. It's not even that hard either. You just have to be disciplined and consistent. If you could stick to something for 3 or 6 months and actually become more attractive and get in the best shape of your life, then why would you not do it? And also the other benefit is after those few weeks or months that you're actually sticking to this new disciplined sort of diet and nutrition, you're actually going to change as a person. You actually actively picking up something that's junk and eating it becomes so much harder because you know the difference that you feel from when you ate that food to when you didn't is a game changer. So going back to eating that trash food is going to become 10 times harder. You can't actually pick it up and put it in your mouth without feeling guilty and knowing that you're going to feel worse and look worse because of it. It's almost like your entire identity changes and kind of who you are. When I go to eat something now, I look at it as, if I eat that, that's probably not going to be the best choice for me. It's not going to make me feel good. I kind of look at food more as fuel now. I do allow myself to have a cheat day once a week, but other than that, I'm looking at food as fuel. And a few months ago, I never did, but as soon as I started to focus on my nutrition, everything changed. For me, I think the benefits of changing the choices, for example, the things you eat or how you train, the payoff is worth it. There's nothing that tastes as good as looking and feeling good. If you want to feel your best and look your best, then you literally need to make getting lean a priority. When you're in the gym, yes, there's a lot of guys that have muscle, but how many of them are actually lean? Not that many. This actually separates you from everyone else. Most guys want to be muscly and lean, but they don't know how to do it at the same time. There's this kind of stigma that if you go to the gym and you put on muscle, you're only really going to attract guys. And I found that when I bulked, yes, this was the case. I would get compliments off loads of guys. But when I actually got lean and showed my muscle definition, I got more attention from women. Even in the gym, I noticed them look more. Not many women are impressed with how big and bloated you can actually look. They're attracted to the lean, athletic, V-taper, wide shoulders, slim waist, abs, defined physiques. In my opinion, from going from really quite strong to lean, more defined, my jawline came back, that is easily the option I would choose. Realistically, no one cares how much you lift if you look like shit. And I would rather look good than actually be strong. Obviously, you can be both. I'm fairly strong. I'm stronger than the average guy, 100%. But now I get compliments off men and women. Obviously, I'm not looking for compliments off men, but women notice as well. Before it was just men complimenting how big I look, when in reality, why do I want that? There is literally no negatives to getting lean. Everything I've said in this video is positive. There's no negatives, apart from the fact you might feel a little bit smaller, but looking better is overall worth it. You need to make getting lean your #1 priority. Trust me, I've been bulky, I've been lean, and lean is easily the best option. If you need help on doing exactly what I have done, or you just need help on your fitness journey, click the top link in the description to book a call with me where we can work together one-to-one. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, click that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments how you found it, and I will see you in my next video.